start off, I would like to apologize if there's any annoying echo in this video, because I'm currently filming in my kitchen because I don't know how else to do a decent overhead shot. So hopefully this looks not horrible. But this video is going to be my 2020 Makeup Empties. Yay! Wow, what a year this has been. But this is the first year that I've had a YouTube channel for the whole time. So I am very excited to show you everything that I used up. A lot of it you might recognize if you have been keeping up with my project pans, and you will definitely recognize everything if you have been keeping up with my monthly beauty trackers, but it's nice to go through and see the totals. I will be going over the monetary value of a category, but not each individual item, just because ain't nobody got time for that. Starting off with face primers, I finished 4, as you can see. 3 of them are from Wet n Wild and 2 of them are the same. I used these up quite a while ago, but they're Photo Focus Matte Face Primer. I thought these were fine. To be honest, I don't know what younger me was thinking. I have used at least 1 or 2 more of these in their old packaging as well. I don't know why I thought I needed a mattifying primer when I don't have oily skin. I thought these matte primers, you know, they did smooth, mattify the area, but I definitely don't need any mattifying properties. One thing I did really like, even though I don't purchase from Wet n Wild, I do know I really like this Photo Focus Dewy Primer. I think I've gone through 2 of these before this as well. It gives a really nice glow. It's not sparkly, but it just adds a really nice dewy sheen, obviously, a luminosity to the skin. I think the first one I went through, I used as a like everyday face highlight. My makeup preferences were definitely different then, but if you like something really subtle and you just want to look like you have glowing skin, I mean, for $4.99, I think this is definitely one that you should check out. On the other hand, this e.l.f. one, I wish I liked it as much as that. To be honest, I don't feel like I need either now, but this did not that much. I might have added a little bit of moisture and glow to my face, but not enough for me to really notice all that much of a difference. The next base product section is concealers, and I used up quite a bit, as you can see. I don't wear foundation. Some people do spot foundationing, which is pretty similar to what I would do with concealer. I just use concealer because I like the coverage for my under eyes, but I don't really know what I'm doing, let's be honest here. Now, these first 2 are both from e.l.f. This one I finished within the first month or so of the year. It is the e.l.f. 18-Hour Camo Concealer, their original matte formula. I got this in the shade Fair Warm, and this was really pale for me, and I am quite pale, but I found they kind of made me look like a ghost. Also, I didn't love how matte and dry this was. So yeah, wrong color, wrong formula for me. But a lot of people do like this, so if you have oilier skin, just make sure maybe go a shade or so deeper than you think you would be. On the other hand, this e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer, I got in a shade that's, this one is also too light for me and too pink for me. It's in Fair Rose, but then I got another one that's way too dark and peachy, so I just don't think there's a shade for me in this line. And the more I used it, at first I did like it. I liked it a lot better than this, to be sure. It has a nice natural finish, especially if you don't set it with powder. It does look really nice, but I found that it definitely creases a lot more and doesn't hide the look of pores as much. I find that I like have to tap in things because it like all the lines on my face. It's not the worst concealer by any means, and I mean, I bought 2 more of them, so I definitely like it, but because I can't find my shade, and it's not like one that makes me feel like, wow, holy grail, this will be my ride or die, I don't think I'm going to repurchase this once I use up the ones I currently have. I'm just on a constant search of the best concealer ever, and I don't know if I'll ever find it. But this was solid. It was good for $6. I think it's definitely worth a try. if you can find your shade. Now these next two, I honestly can't attest to their formulations on their own because I was never able to wear them alone. As you can see, they're both quite yellow and they were too dark for me. This first one was the first one I got. I think this was the lightest shade at the store, 125 in light natural. It was way too dark for me. This is definitely a thicker formula. I didn't find anything wrong with it, but again, I never wore it on its own because of the color, and it's been so long, I'm not even sure. I would consider, if I could find my right shade, repurchasing this just to see how I like it on its own. I don't have any critiques for it really. I thought it was fine, but again, I never really had it on its own. So these next two are from CoverGirl. They're True Blend Undercover Concealer. This is in the shade L150 Porcelain, and this is L200. I think L200 is too light for me, but L150 was a good shade. But I don't know why, but this one seems lighter. Is it just me? But also this might be too peachy. I actually don't know my shade. Honestly, I can never find my right shade. I don't know what skin tone I am. But I mix these a lot with these, so I think for a while I did use one on their own. I remember liking it. Sometimes it looked a bit too drying on my skin, but other times it didn't, so I think it just depended on the day. I would consider buying this again, especially because it has 10 mils of product. That is quite a bit for a concealer. In comparison, this Milani one has 5 mils of product, so it definitely has good value for the price. It has a much bigger doe foot. I would give you a fair warning if you're one of those people who likes to get every last drop and take out the stopper. This is the most monstrous stopper I've ever taken out. I did manage to take out both of them, but like, you might have to be willing to sacrifice a pair of tweezers just to get another week or two out of this product. Just fair warning. It's funny that I used up 2 of each brand. 6 concealers is kind of a lot to use up, but to be fair, some of these were already being used in the beginning of the year and I was like mixing them together. So I have no idea how much it would be if I started fresh in the beginning of the year and I only used one at a time. I don't know. Now the last 2 base products that I used up are first this Flower Beauty setting spray and Seal the Deal. This is their hydrating one, dewy finish. I liked this. I found that it made my skin feel nice, but once I stopped using it, I didn't see much of a difference, to be completely honest. Similar to primers, I'm not sure if setting spray is something I really need. It didn't like mattify me, which is good. Honestly, I don't have a ton of experience with setting sprays. I thought it was fine. If you are looking for a nice dewy one, I would say, you know, give this a try. It was nice, but it wasn't groundbreaking enough for me to want to continue. But if I were to buy a setting spray, I probably would consider buying this because I did enjoy it when I did have it. Now, the last base product I used up was this Milani Prep Set Glow Illuminating Transparent Powder. And this was in the shade 02. I believe there's only one shade. It didn't have a ton of pigment to it, so I think it should work with most skin tones. If you're really deep, it might look a bit ashy. I'm not sure. While I don't have experience with a ton of face powders, this has definitely been my favorite I've ever tried. It was so gorgeous. It wasn't mattifying, but it wasn't dewy. It was this natural finish. It says illuminating. It definitely has a very subtle skin-like sheen, and some people use it just as a finishing powder. I used it as my setting powder because I don't like mattifying ones, and it never looked dry on my skin. It also was really nice if you needed to like blend out the edges of eyeshadow. I just thought it was beautiful, and I honestly miss it because the one I'm using now is not ideal, but I want to use that one up first before I repurchase this. So my total for all of my base products is 12 items, and it cost about $87.03 for all these together. Now for cheap products, this is a pretty underwhelming category. I used up 2. Wow. This first one you probably have seen recently if you've been keeping up with my videos. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Light Bronzer. I am just so proud of myself for finishing this up. Interestingly enough, I feel like everyone who has owned this on YouTube always says their packaging is broken. Mine hasn't. So I don't know what you're doing to your packaging, or if I just got a really nice, like, packaged one, or if I'm just, like, really careful with it for some reason. I don't know, but it has lasted. It still has a nice closure. I originally really liked this bronzer. It has a nice formula. Once you repress it and it gets old, it's not as nice, but it's still not bad. But I realized this color is just not great for me. Light bronzer is just like too yellowy, orangey. Didn't love it, but I also realized I don't love bronzers in general. And also I wouldn't repurchase it because I don't know how to feel about Physicians Formula or Wet n Wild and all those brands that are kind of like in this weird gray area. So I'm just gonna avoid them. Physicians Formula isn't exactly the most shade inclusive brand either, so it's not like I want to give a ton of my money to them. But this is the second full-size bronzer I have ever completely used up in my life, so it's definitely a monumental moment to finish a bronzer for me. This next one is technically a lipstick, but I never used it as a lipstick because it looked absolutely horrid on me. This is another Physicians Formula product in the shade I Heart Nude from their Happy Booster line. This came in a set that I got at like Marshall's for $5. It was an impulse buy. I shouldn't have got it. But this was a pretty shade as a blush. It looks really gross in there because it's old. It looks like neon orangey, but actually as a blush, it was this pretty kind of corally peachy shade. The only thing is it was kind of slippery in a sense that like it wouldn't stay on the cheeks as well as others. Sometimes I would touch my face and you would see like the blush move. So it definitely wasn't made to be used as a blush. I'm very glad to see it go though, because as you can see, it's very beat up. It's old. It's a reminder that I used to make dumb purchasing decisions. I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect now, but as a total for cheek products, I used up 2 items that cost $17.99-ish together. So yeah, either way, I'm very happy that I got these out of my life. Moving on to the eyes section. For eyeshadow, I'm pretty proud of this. Let's just go over this depressing guy. This is the Wet n Wild Quad and Walking on Eggshells. The packaging broke a while ago for me. Because of that, I depotted things and then repressed things. Basically, it's beat up. I finished all 3 of these shades with the exception of this like bronzy brown. I just didn't love it, but I still counted it as an empty because I did finish the majority of the palette, despite its interesting state right now. On the other hand, this one still looks like a palette. This is their quad in the shade Petalette. I should not have taken the sticker off. That looks absolutely disgusting. But I also haven't used this like physical palette in a while because I repressed the remaining shade in another palette. Anyways, this is the first palette I've ever finished every single shade out of. And I know it's just a quad, don't get me wrong. But I'm just so proud that I finished every single shade, and these pans aren't exactly the smallest either. The last one I finished was this deep purple. I frankened it a bit, but this wasn't the greatest formula. I think this lid shade was good. This crease shade was really nice. This one worked well as a highlight, but as an eyeshadow, it barely showed up. This deep purple shade was kind of a weird mix of a matte and a shimmer. It was fine. It wasn't the most pigmented or blendable, but it definitely got worse as time went on. But, I mean, for $2.99, can't really be that mad. I'm very proud of that. And then the other palette I have, I didn't finish all the shades because the deepest shade cracked and fell out years ago. This was actually the oldest eyeshadow palette in my collection. I bought this freshman year of high school. What a different time that was. That was before I actually got interested in makeup. I bought this for my homecoming dance. Man, I did not know how to apply eyeshadow then. Anyways, I really like the formula of the middle shade. They do not make these trios anymore, but they do have different trios. I have no idea if they're the same formula or not. I don't even know about number 7's cruelty-free status or anything. I liked the formula with the middle shade, but the other two, I mean, I can't say much about the one that fell out a while ago, but this one was kind of powdery. I'm very proud that I finished this though, because I've had it for so long and I just really needed to get rid of it before it stopped working, basically. And then these little pans are kind of placeholders for eyeshadows that I finished up. This was part of a Milani 6-pan palette. I think they are moving those out of their line, but I'm not sure. It was the most amazing formula. I swear it was beautiful. It was a part of, I think, their Bare Necessities one. This was the Champagne Large shade. This was the most beautiful highlight on me. It was so intense though. I did not need a lot. When I first got it, I definitely used too much. I definitely missed this, but I'm glad that I used it up just because, you know, I loved it and I just gotta say goodbye. But Milani, if you would make single eyeshadows and make this one of them, I would buy it. Oh my gosh, I would buy it. So just putting that out there, Milani. I know you're not watching this, but just saying. This next one is a depotted shade from a Revlon quad. It wasn't a great formula, but I did use it up. Wouldn't recommend those. This pan is just a placeholder for another shade I used up because I repressed something into that pan, but I did use up another Milani shadow. It was from a different 6-pan. It was a cooler tone taupey one. I don't remember what that one was called. Maybe All Natural or something like that. I don't know, but it was this pale pink. It was their like 5th shade in there. It was a fine formula, definitely not the same as the formula in this pan though. And then this is a placeholder for a brow powder that I used up. It was one of their NYX cake powders. I did really like it, but I wouldn't repurchase it just because only one of the colors was really good enough for me, and now I've kind of changed my preferences for how I want to do my brows in terms of colors and stuff. I would not pay $6 for 1 out of 3 of the products in a little brow palette. That's just not me. So yeah, but the cake powders were nice. I just didn't like the wax. It was very like slippery and greasy, and I don't think it actually helped to keep my brows in place. The last section for eyes is mascara. I only used up 5 this year. I feel like that's pretty good. I don't want to use up that many considering I try to use as much as I can, but some of these I didn't love as much, or they just dried out and got flaky. I'm trying to find like a holy grail mascara. Again, with concealer, I'm like, will I ever find it? But the first one I think I used up this year was this CoverGirl Flourish by Lash Blast. I thought it was decent. I don't have any really critiques other than it just wasn't like, it didn't make my lashes look the most amazing, but it definitely made them look separated and nice and fluttery. I would consider buying it again. It was nice. I'm not sure if I like it more or less than their Clump Crusher. I wish I had a better memory, but if you do like the Clump Crusher, you'd probably like this. I did like the wand also. Speaking of CoverGirl, I used up 2 of these. What are you doing, buddy? I really liked the first tube, and the second tube I realized I didn't like it as much as I thought I did. This is so dry and like thick now. It wasn't a rubber bristle like the other 2 CoverGirl mascaras that I like. It is more like the natural bristle. It is this hourglass shape. I liked it. I thought it added a lot more like fluffy volume. It didn't add as much separation as this would. Maybe if you use both of them. But it was a bit of a drier formula, I think. I liked it, but then the second one I realized it flaked a bit more than I want. I'm not sure what happened to this guy, but it looks like I beat him up in a back alley. But I would consider buying it again just because I did like it, but I think I'm looking for just something different. Now these 2 I did not like as much as these 3. This one was my most recent empty. I didn't actually finish it, but I was just done. I could not take it. It has a similar wand to the CoverGirl Clump Crusher with this curved rubber bristle, but it was just so like dry and almost like fibrous when it flaked. It would get in my eyes, and it didn't do that great of a job. The texture of it was not good, and it was difficult to remove. I just didn't enjoy this, even though it was only $5 from e.l.f. Oh, I forgot to say, this is the e.l.f. Keep Your Curl. What am I doing? But I don't know if I'll try another e.l.f. mascara just because I haven't heard that great things. I think I'll just stick with CoverGirl or maybe Essence. This next one was something that my mom decluttered to me just because she had like this as a backup and never used it because she doesn't like black mascaras. She likes brown or black brown. So I was like, okay, I'll try it out. I have used one of these in the past. I thought it was just okay back then. And using it now, I can see why. Again, I did not finish it, but I called it done because it started getting drier and flakier, and I just didn't love it. Again, I just want to find a mascara that I can use for like a solid at least 4 months, and before it starts getting bad, and also like love it all 4 of those months. Is that too much to ask? I mean, I would love to use mascaras up to the 6-month mark, but some of these I just don't like their formula. This one has a very similar wand to the last one, maybe a bit bigger. I liked the wand, but I just didn't. The formula was fine. It did actually stay on quite well, but again, eventually it kind of got dry and flaky. 5 mascaras, that's pretty decent. I would like to make that less next year, just because I don't want to, you know, have a ton of waste. If I can just find mascaras I actually really, really love, that'd be great. Maybe I'll try this one again, but I don't know. I kind of want something that's more dramatic, but also sometimes I don't want something too dramatic, so I don't know. If you have any mascara recommendations based off the ones that I said I did kind of like, if you like the CoverGirl Clump Crusher and stuff like that, let me know. I really want to try some more Essence mascaras, but when I tried their Lash Princess, I really, really loved the effect. It was so gorgeous. Some people were like, are you wearing false lashes? Like, it was amazing, but it flaked and smudged slightly on me, and so the only way I can make it work is if I put another one on top. And I just want to know if you used the Lash Princess and you found it flaked and smudged on you, was there any Essence mascara that you found that you liked and didn't do that? Because I would love to know. I really want to find a good, affordable mascara. So the total for all of my eye products is 11 items for about $55.45. Moving on to the lip product section, I have lip balms. This first one was a chapstick. I think it was like a sugar cookie one, and actually it smelled really nice and I kind of wanted to eat it. I got it in like a gift bag from a party or something like that. I frankened it with lipsticks, and that's why it has this weird color going on inside. I like to franken lip balms with lipsticks to make wearable tinted lip balms a lot of the times. And then these 3 are from Burt's Bees. 2 of them are mango, which is my favorite one that I've tried from them. I just find it's more moisturizing. I don't even love mangoes that much, but I do really like these. The peppermint one does not add as much moisture. Obviously, with the peppermint, I don't know why I thought that would be the most amazing thing ever. I do dig out my lip balms just because I just like to save money as much as I can. But yeah, the peppermint wasn't great for moisture. I don't know why you put peppermint in a lip balm in the first place. Anyways, this last one is the only tinted lip balm I have here. This is also from Burt's Bees. I really like the formula. I didn't love the smell, but I mean, that's fine. It is in the shade Hibiscus. It looks pink, but in reality it was like a peachy, brownish, I mean, it had some pink to it, but it was definitely like a peachy shade. I really liked this. Took forever to use up, but I don't know if I'd repurchase it just because I at least need a break from this after panning it, but I would consider buying other ones from this line. I thought they were nice. I would like to add though that this isn't the most moisturizing formula, but to be honest, I don't think I've ever found one that is the most moisturizing. I think my lips are just always dry. Before we get into my lip gloss section, I would like to add that I did use up this Wet n Wild gel lip liner in the shade Plum Together. It is this beautiful plummy shade. I actually ended up buying a lipstick in a similar color because I realized how much I liked it. As a lipstick, it's a no-go. As a lip liner, I don't know, because I never really used it just as a lip liner because I don't have any lipstick like this, at least at the time I didn't. But it did not wear very well as a lipstick. But I've heard good things about this line. Maybe their more neutral shades are better, but I don't know. But this color was really beautiful. These 2 little plastic things held tiny samples from a brand called Meryl Norman. My mom got them at some goodie bag thing. They were fine. I frankened them with a lip balm to make a tinted lip balm just because for some reason there was so little in them. But I would never ever reach for them, and every time I did I was like, oh, I forgot I should use these lipsticks. Like, it wouldn't take that long, but I guess it was because it was in this format. I just never wanted to reach for them. But yeah, it's nice to get these little samples out. Now, here's the majority of the lip products that I used up. Lip glosses. I do really like lip glosses. This first one is, again, another little Meryl Norman sample. It was a bit sticky for me, but it was really easy. I used it in 3 uses or whatever. And another tiny one is this Mary Kay Nourishine Plush Lip Gloss. I had this in a set of 6. I got in a little gift as well. It was adorable. But my favorite one was like a nude cream shade. This I ended up frankening with a lip balm to make another lip product, just because lip gloss in red. First off, I'm not in love with like red lipstick in general, but I wore this one day and then my hair would stick to it, and then I'd move my hair out of the way. My hair would drag tiny little red lines across my face, so it looked like I had little cuts. So that's when I realized, yeah, this isn't gonna work, so I frankened it. Moving on to full-size lip glosses, I believe this LA Colors lip gloss was the first full-size lip gloss I'd ever used up completely. It did not have this color inside. I ended up putting a Franken lip product in here because I like to reuse packaging. But originally, again, it was something my mom got as like a for free thing. I think it's only worth like $1. It was fine. It was very underwhelming as a gloss. It was like kind of clear, pinkish, gold shifting. It just added a little bit of shine. It was easy to use up because it was so like neutral. But yeah, I'm just really happy that I used this up. I'm very proud. And then after that, I realized, oh, I'm actually kind of decent at finishing lip glosses. The next one I finished after that was this Milani Keep It Full lip gloss, I believe. This was in the shade Soft Rose. Beautiful shade. It just was a little bit off on me. I've seen some people that it looks absolutely gorgeous on, but for some reason it was slightly too light and too muted brownish. I'm not sure how else to explain. I had to put it on top of other lip products because on its own, it just didn't look quite right on me. But I did really enjoy the formula, so I would consider buying other ones in their cream formula. I have tried their like shimmery formula. I do like that as well, but I do prefer their cream formula. I think I just prefer cream finished glosses in general though. I found that through experience. I think that's what I prefer. But yeah, I would consider buying another cream finished gloss from them again, but not this color. The next one I finished after that, I started getting on a roll, and it is this Catrice lip gloss. I think it was called the Lip Booster or something. All the words rubbed off on both of those, so I'm not sure. Even the like thing on the sticker rubbed off. This was nice. It wasn't my favorite formula. I found it was kind of similar to the Buxom formula, but a little bit more sheer. It was also a little bit stickier once it started fading. I found that if I reapplied it a ton that day, sometimes it would like have a sticky build-up thing going on, but most of the time it was fine. But it wasn't my favorite. I don't really like the plumping kind of feel. It wasn't actually plumping, but it had that kind of menthol-y vibe to it. It was fine. I'm very glad that I finished it up just because it was getting older, but I don't think I would repurchase it. Now, the next one that I finished, I counted it as an empty. As you can see, there is not a ton of product left in here. I did not finish every last drop though because it did expire on me, but I definitely want to repurchase this once my no-buy is done. This will probably be one of the first things I repurchase because this is, sorry, I just got a whiff. It smells so bad. It was like a weird scent at first, like when it was fine, but once it turns, oh my gosh, it smells rancid. But this lip color is my perfect nude on me because my lips are naturally a bit pinker. I really like the cream formula on these Essence lip glosses. Still kind of experimenting with their shimmery one, but I definitely want to repurchase this. This was absolutely beautiful, and I actually kind of miss it. Sometimes I'm just like, I want this. But you know, it's fine. I have plenty of lip glosses. I need to use up what I have first, but I definitely would buy this in the future. And this last lip gloss is from Buxom. It is, what is this called? Their Full-On Plumping Lip Polish. This was in the shade Sugar, a very popular shade. A very pretty shade, I might add. It was pretty, but it wasn't like my favorite color on me. It was this nice kind of mauve-y, browny, pinky, shimmery one. Out of all of the shimmery glosses, I think I did like the finish of this the best because it wasn't like sparkly. It was somewhere in between sparkly and a cream. So if you don't like sparkly but you do like shimmery, then I think this is nice. I would not purchase this for $21 though, just because it had one of those menthol-y taste kind of things, and I just don't vibe with that much. But I did think this was a really nice formula. So the total for lip products is 15 items, and it costs about $63.24. The reason that this is so low is because these didn't cost anything. These two were like $1 each because they're tiny. And these lip balms aren't exactly the most expensive thing either. I actually don't consider lip balm makeup, but a lot of people do, and I thought I just can add them in here, especially because they were incorporated into a lot of tinted makeup products through Frankens. But anyways, I'm very happy with this because these needed to be done. They were definitely older. Now this last section isn't makeup, but these, since sponges are a makeup tool that are disposable and something that you kind of consume in a sense because you have to, you know, get rid of them eventually. This is also the reason why I stopped buying sponges, so I only use brushes. I only had two kinds of sponges, as you can see. These two are the Eco Tools one. They look absolutely disgusting. I thought this sponge was really nice. It was a bit softer than these, and it also tore a bit easier, but it was really nice, and it has a really great shape to get around the crevices in your face, depending on what you want. If you like to use flat to pack on color under your eyes especially, then that's good. Or if you like to blend, you can use this kind of corner. I usually use the corners to blend out my concealer. Again, there's another smaller side. And then we have the rounded edge. It really just has everything you need. Again, even this flat edge, if you want to like really clean up your eyeshadow or something. It's a very versatile sponge, and it's not super expensive. So I would say it's a definitely good option if you are looking for a good sponge. These Real Technique ones are very good as well. However, while they didn't rip as easily, I did find they kind of like stained easier. But yeah, these just, as you can see, they look very gross, so I had to say goodbye. Some of these I definitely shouldn't have held on to them as long as I did, but I'm very glad that I used up these 8 sponges and then I don't use sponges anymore because I just feel like this is wasteful. At least for me, I don't need sponges. I like my brushes just fine, so I'm gonna use those instead. These are also kind of just like a hassle to wash and maintain and take care of, so yeah, very glad that these are done. So these are my yearly empties. As a total, I finished 48 items, including, you know, some of these little ones count as one as well. But I counted that they all cost $271.69 together. Again, not the biggest number, but it's pretty big for me considering I buy drugstore, and I feel like this is a lot. So I'm very proud, I'm very happy. In case if you were wondering, I finished up a total of 17 items from brands that are either not cruelty-free or ones where I'm just not sure about their status, and 31 that are cruelty-free, at least I hope so. So yeah, that'd be an additional thing because I'm very happy to get these out of my life, making some progress, moving on. But yeah, that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. See you in a year. And yeah, I hope that you have an amazing day. Bye. Wait, I don't know how to wave from this angle. I look dumb.